Hi there, welcome to How to BIM. In today's tutorial, we're going to be doing a seamless Revit to Navisworks integration. I'll walk you through the entire process from exporting your model from Revit to setting your Navisworks workspace. And we will also do a visual inspection. So whether you're new to Navisworks or you've used it before and you want to elevate your project workflow, you should watch this video. So this is the Revit model that we're going to be working with. You can find it in the description below. There's a link, you can download it from there. I've already separated the model into different disciplines and different views. This is the 3D for the MEP. This is the view for the architecture, and this has both the MEP and the architecture. Make sure that the view of the MEP has a fine level of details for you to be able to visualize the ductwork and the pipelines. Otherwise, they're going to be just represented as lines. Next, I'm going to show you quickly how to divide a certain model into different views from different disciplines. You just have to click V twice on your keyboard or go to View, Visibility, Graphics Override, use the filter list to choose which discipline you want to visualize, and then check and decheck the elements you want to view or hide. It's pretty easy and simple. This is the view with no elements hidden. This is the 3D MEP view in which I have hid the architecture, structure, and the topography of the model. So the next step is exporting the model, but first, I'm assuming you have Navisworks already downloaded and activated, but if you don't, you can use this link, it's in the description. You could simply download it for free if you have an educational trial. Obviously choose the version Navisworks Manage, not Simulate. Next, we will need to have a Revit file exporter. We need to download it. Obviously, Navisworks can read the native RVT files directly, but we don't really recommend that. It's better if you have an exporter in NWC format. That would make it so much easier without losing any data. Follow through, it's really easy. Downloading this process is simple. We won't be needing Navisworks Freedom. We'll be needing Navisworks Export Utility. Exactly, Navisworks NWC File Export Utility. Choose the Navisworks version that you are using. And then follow the instructions to download and activate it. It's not complicated at all. So now we'll go back to Revit. We will export the file. Go to export. You'll find the NWC export tool there. Give it a name. And then we'll go to the next important thing, which is the Navisworks settings, export settings. We'll start with converting the element IDs. Otherwise, all what we're doing is for nothing. Then converting the element parameters, make sure that all the parameters are converted, the properties also. The CAD format and the length files are usually not necessary unless your projects need them for specific needs. And the next important things is the project coordinates. Make sure that it's project internal, especially in cases like this when we're exporting multiple views, we should make sure that they align. Then in export, you can either export the entire project or a current view. This is usually up to you. I'm going to do current view in here. And that's all we need to cover. Press OK and then save. The export process wouldn't take long. It's pretty fast. Now we'll launch Navisworks. Go to Home. Append. And we will append our model. We can either append the whole model or each view separately, especially if in our export setting we've chosen the same internal point. In order to visualize or the NWC file, make sure to choose them in the type of files and open. And this is our model in Navisworks. If you want to remove the guy with the white hard hat, you can right click, go to Viewpoint, Navigation Tools, and then enable the third person or just Control T. So now we'll try to explore some of Navisworks' most useful tools. In my workspace, you will find the Selection tool first. It's really useful. You will see that in next videos. We have also the plan view, and we have the properties of each selected elements. This is also very useful. There's a lot of great tools in Navisworks. We will try to cover them in this or next videos. Whenever we'll need them, I'll show you how to use it. It will make it so easier for you. But first, I'm going to show you how to save your workspace preferences before starting to use Navisworks. We go to Home Options, the Options editor will appear, and we will start with the General Options. First thing to cover is the autosave. Make sure that it's enabled. Make sure that you have a specific directory and choose the time between each saves, as well as the maximum previous versions to be saved. Next, we'll go to the interface options, the display unit. I work with the metric system, so I'm going to go for meters and 3 decimal places. The selectioning and the selection are utterly personal, so like you can choose the color that you like or the colors that contradict with the colors in your project. Okay, I will try to cover the important ones here because we can't go through all of them. It'll kind of take the whole day. So yeah, most of them I wouldn't recommend changing them because you wouldn't actually notice the difference unless you have specific needs for specific project. But if you're starting, don't mess around a lot with them. We'll go to user interface. It can be light or dark. This is also based on your preference. The grids can change the colors. We can change the label font size. There's the 3D connection, and okay, the navigation bar. I'm using the classic constraint orbit, the turnable one, and the walk tool is the classic walk. We're gonna show you how to do that later. The view cube, I prefer it to be slightly transparent. Also the steering wheel. The steering wheel is slightly transparent, and the size is normal in my workspace. Okay, next we have the performance. I don't recommend changing anything in the export format or the import format unless you need to. And then we have the tools, the clash detection, the timeliner, and the quantification. We will cover these in future videos. Yes, we will cover them whenever we need them. I suppose that's it. I think that's all we need to cover. We can now export, minimize them, and start checking the boxes to save our preferences. Okay, give it a name. Let's say general Navisworks options. General Navisworks options. And then hit save. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to use the selection tree. Let's say we want to select all the walls in the model. We're going to go to walls and simply select them. There you go. You can also refine your selection, like open up the walls category and then choose which type of walls you want to select. We're using the standard view. You can choose whether you want to view your selection tree based on properties or on elements or in certain category. Choose like category name or something like that. We will cover that in the next video. You will understand how important selection trees in the clash detection process or the 4D simulations process, 4D BIM simulations using the timeliner. Next, we're gonna click right and then check the tools we have in Viewpoint. For example, you don't have to use the cube to view from certain angles. You can use the viewpoint to change the navigation mode, like walk around or walk, look around, fly, or examine, or whatever. Navigation tools. Most of the tools that you will need in the viewpoint are Here you can choose whichever you need. You can change the background also. I'm using the default graduated one. You can go, for example, to horizon, change the ground color to green, make your model look like it's in a green landscape or something like that. We just need to find the right angle. Okay. Yeah, and that's it. Like, you can visualize your model in a green landscape. Let's go back to the default background. Okay, you can check these tools, like discover them and all, to know whichever you may need in this project. Now we will go to the last step, which is the visual inspection. We'll be using the steering wheel and we will be walking. You can use the up and down arrows in your keyboard to adjust the height of your visualization. Make sure to have like a human eye level height. And the minus key can change the minus and plus keys in your keyboard can change the speed. We're trying to find anything that can be considered a clash or an issue in the model before performing the clash detection in depth. If you need to know anything about a certain element, you can just select it and then view the properties in the property tab. You can open the selection tree and select all the categories and so on. For example, I'm going to hide the walls to be able to view the structural elements and the MEP elements better. Go back to walking, and we're just walking around in our model trying to find something that we need to change in the modeling software, which is Revit. As Navisworks is a visualization tool, so it helps in swift, fast visualization. For example, this is a rectangular duct. As I said before, you can view the properties in the property tab. We can resume our inspection. An important spot to visualize and find issues in is right between the floor and the ceiling, is where you find the pipelines and the ducts. Obviously, if you find anything that needs to be edited, it has to be assigned to the relevant party. We will cover that in the next video. In the process of writing a or exporting a clash report. Now I'm going to unhide the walls of the model, and yeah, let's, for example, select a pipeline and view the properties. All the data that we have exported from the modeling software, which was Revit, we can find it in here, in depth and details. That's why we make sure to set the proper export settings from Revit. So that's it for today. In the next videos, I will be covering clash detection, timeliner, quantification, and Navisworks. And if you're interested in other building information modeling softwares, such as Revit or Dynamo, I'm going to be creating playlists about that. So subscribe and like if you're interested in this content. And thank you for watching.